Now, the Clippers were having a fantastic 2025 NBA offseason, and we're going to get into that in today's video. But first, we got to talk about how the Los Angeles Clippers made NBA headlines yesterday after Bradley Beal was brought out from his current contract from the Phoenix Suns, and he was brought to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I haven't watched any basketball breakdowns on this on YouTube yet, but I have been scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, and it seems like the masses on those two platforms, they're not taking this seriously by the Los Angeles Clippers. They're not worried about Bradley Beal being on the Los Angeles Clippers. But I'm telling you right now, I think the rest of the Western Conference should be very, very worried, because like how we started this video off, the Los Angeles Clippers, they quietly have already been having a very, very solid offseason, and now they have Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is about to be added to a very nice equation that they have in Los Angeles, and it's a million reasons why this situation right now with the Clippers will be 1,000 times better for Bradley Beal than the situation with the Phoenix Suns. And speaking of Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns, when we look at his tenure there, it's not like just like Bradley Beal was just going out on the basketball court and he was just playing god awful. He was just missing shots that he normally makes. That was not the case with Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns, and hell, it wasn't the case with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. You know, when those three guys were on the basketball court, you know, they put up some normal numbers, and of course Bradley Beal, his numbers weren't the numbers that we seen being accustomed to when he was playing with the Washington Wizards. But we're going to get into the reason for that. But we look at the Phoenix Suns, their reason wasn't the talent from those three guys. Those three guys, you know, they played their roles pretty well. It was what they had around them, as far as the center position. They had no center depth whatsoever. They also had no true ace wing defender. So that was the Phoenix Suns' biggest problems. It wasn't on the offensive side of the ball where Bradley Beal specializes at, but their problem was on the defensive side of the ball where Bradley Beal does not specialize at. But we look at his years with the Los Angeles Clippers. With the Phoenix Suns. He played about 2 seasons there, and he averaged 17-18 points per game in both of those seasons. One season he shot 50% from the field and 40% from the three-point line. This past season he shot 49% from the field and 38% from the three-point line. So Bradley Beal, obviously, he still knows how to put the bucket in the hole. And we look at why Bradley Beal was not averaging 25 points per game, and we seen him put up 30 points per game as the Washington Wizard before. There's a couple of reasons for that. Now, I'm not saying Bradley Beal was the perfect citizen with the Phoenix Suns. Now, his biggest issue is that he wasn't as available as he should have been. Both seasons combined played about 100 games out of the 160 games. That was 82 plus 82. That's 164. So he played about just a bit above 100 out of those games, and he wasn't the most available player. And when players are having those nagging injuries, they're coming back out of rhythm. They're also not in the same flow, same synergy with the rest of their teammates when they're not out there that often. And then also those minute restrictions come into play as well. And then also he's playing against two elite shot makers and takers, guys that's going to take a bunch of shots with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. So that's why we didn't see Bradley Beal average 25-30 points per game, because he didn't have to. The Phoenix Suns were a stacked offensive team. They have two elite scorers in D-Book and Kevin Durant. And here's why I love his situation and with the Los Angeles Clippers so much better. The Los Angeles Clippers, they have Coach Tyronn Lue as their head coach, and over the last handful of years, Coach Tyronn Lue, he has established a defensive identity for the Los Angeles Clippers. Every year they're going to finish top 5, top 10 in defensive rating. So now he's coming to a team that already specializes in the biggest weakness of his game, which is on the defensive side of the ball. So they're going to have guys around Bradley Beal that can guard, guys that can, protect the rim if he's getting blown past his man, or guys that can come and help if he's getting picked on, for switches. And then it's not like Bradley Beal is just some small guard. If Tyronn Lue tells him, like, something we do here, we're going to play defense, we want you in the passing lane, James, we want you, being the nuisance, we want you helping. I'm pretty sure Bradley Beal is going to do that, and he has the size to be an effective defender. So I'm loving that for Bradley Beal and the Los Angeles Clippers. And also, while I'm loving this, this is something that we haven't seen in the NBA in a couple of years. The Los Angeles Clippers, they now have a situation where they have 3 star players: Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. They're considered star caliber players in this league. They've all made the All-Star game multiple times. But the rare thing that the Clippers have, not that they have 3 stars, but they also have a tremendous amount of depth. And this is where that offseason comes into play that we talked about at the beginning of the video. And we look at some of the moves that the Los Angeles Clippers have made so far this offseason. They participate in the 3-team trade with the Miami Heat and the Utah Jazz that ships Norman Powell to the Miami Heat, and it brings back the Los Angeles Clippers. They get John Collins, and this trade makes a lot more sense now that they're able to get Bradley Beal from this buyout situation. They now replace a guard that they have that was putting up 24 points per game in the system. And if I'm being honest, I know Norman Powell was definitely a better player than Bradley Beal last season, but Bradley Beal, in my opinion, he's a better talent than Norman Powell. So now they get John Collins, and now they get to replace Norman Powell with Bradley Beal. So this is really a knockout the park, in my opinion, for the Los Angeles Clippers. But we look at what John Collins is. He's an outstanding rebounder. I also love them adding additional rebounding, so when they have to play against teams like the Denver Nuggets, a team that seems like it's going to be in the Los Angeles Clippers' way to get to that NBA championship, but when they play against a team like the Denver Nuggets, they now have another body to throw at Nikola Jokic, another solid rebounder, and a guy that can put constant pressure on the rim. That's the best part of John Collins' offensive game. I love him in the 2-man game. He can catch it on the short roll, put the ball on the floor, get real athletic with it, and finish around the rim. He can also knock down an open 3-point shot, and this is probably the best situation that he's been in his basketball career so far. So this could be something that really energizes him. And like I said, Tyronn Lue is a really good coach, so I expect him to help John Collins out a lot. We look at a free agency signing that they had this offseason, bringing in Brook Lopez. Once again, I love this, just to combat the team that knocked them out of the playoffs this postseason. A player that can help neutralize the best player on their team, and we know that's Nikola Jokic. So they bring in Brook Lopez, an NBA champion, still one of the best rim protectors in today's NBA. He does a great job at blocking shots. He still, remembers a little bit from his post game when he was a Brooklyn Net. He can knock down that jump hook still. He can also finish around the rim. Brook Lopez, I don't know how tall he is, but he looks like he's like 7'1", 7'2". He has some very long limbs. So they have Brook Lopez, and also don't let me forget, I don't like when Brook Lopez, takes some of the threes that he takes sometimes. Sometimes he pulls from Steph Curry land, but he is a guy that can get hot from 3-point line, and he stretches the floor. So another addition, we look at the big room for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now they have Mo Bamba, they have John Collins, they have Ivica Zubac, who had an outstanding season last year, and they now have Brook Lopez. So this is why I was saying I love this for Bradley Beal, because now if he does get blown by, if he gets beat off the dribble, he has some pretty solid defenders at the rim to back him up. So the Los Angeles Clippers, they added those guys to the roster this year, and then also the guys that they retained. They re-signed James Harden, who had a terrific year with the Los Angeles Clippers last year, kept their season afloat. Him and Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac, and all those outstanding role players kept the Los Angeles Clippers afloat, while Kawhi Leonard rehabbed and nursed his injury. They also retained Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn played outstanding defense. That's another thing I love for both James Harden and Bradley Beal. You can stagger their minutes with him. So at all times you have an ace defender on the floor with either him, Derrick Jones Jr., Kawhi Leonard. So I also love that for Bradley Beal. They still have Nicholas Batum, and they just have a really deep roster. So that's what I was looking at. That's what I thought about. And like I said, I haven't really seen any YouTube videos on it yet from, guys that do what I do, or from the major platforms like ESPN and Fox. I haven't seen their breakdown of this move yet, but I just know, the general public, they were kind of downplaying it. But I think this could work out really, really well for the Clippers, especially, like I said, having to let go of Norman Powell, who averaged 24 points per game in your system last year. You bring in John Collins, a very valuable forward/center in this league, and then you get real lucky that Bradley Beal wants to come sign with you. So you replace Norman Powell, but you still get all those additions that you got this offseason. So I love this for the Los Angeles Clippers, and I think they want that NBA championship. So the Western Conference is going to be a real war zone once again for like the fifth, sixth straight season. The Western Conference has been crazy competitive, but that's what I want to talk about with you guys today, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.